Today, however, we'll take a deep dive into the topic for Roberto Bonasio, and that is all about this little animal here, ants. Now, a couple of fun facts. What do you know about ants? For example, how many ants are there on planet Earth? Of course, nobody went out to count them all, but the ballpark figure is 1 quadrillion. That is 1 billion million ants. And among this 1 quadrillion ants, there are plenty of different species, different types of them. And one thing most of them have in common is that when the queen, the big ant who lays the eggs, when she dies eventually, the whole colony will perish, except for a couple of species where after the death of the queen, the little worker ants, they start to fight out, a bit like Game of Thrones, and the strongest one will become the new queen. And you wonder, how is that possible? Because the worker will grow ovaries, will grow in size, will live 5 times longer than the worker would have lived otherwise. How and why can that happen? Well, that's a question for the winner of this year's award. He is Associate Professor of Cell and Developmental Biology, and he does that at the Perelman School of Medicine, University of Pennsylvania. Here is Roberto Bonasio. Ciao, Roberto.
Hi, Andreas. As you mentioned, when the queen dies, what happens is that the remaining workers start arguing with each other on who should be the next queen. And I actually brought a little movie to show you how that argument plays out in real life. So these are Harpegnetos ants, these are all workers, and the queen has been removed, and then try to decide who should be promoted to queen. And so what happens is that in a matter of days, or maybe just a few weeks, one or some of the workers actually become new acting queens. And with this change in social status comes an incredible and dramatic switch in their behavior. They stop working, they stop doing all the tasks they were doing before, and they start acting like queens, and their social relationship with the other ants in the colonies changes accordingly.
Do they kill?
Actually, no ants typically are harmed in the proceedings, so it is some call it a ritualized tournament. It's really more a display of aggression and dominance, but as far as I know, typically all the ants actually survive, or the majority, I would say.
What a happy end to this story, but let me...
Yeah, the majority survive.
let me add a slightly hypothetical question, but I just can't get this out of my head. When we spoke over the phone, Roberto, you told me, hey, if we make this work, the process from turning just a little worker ant into a queen, if we pull that off one day for humans, it would mean we're working on everlasting life and we're working on perfect mind control. Now imagine you developed that, you found the key in your lab, you can apply it to humans, you personally. Would you switch on everlasting life, first question? Second, if you had the option to do mind control with humanity, what would you tell humanity?
Yeah, that's an easy question. So I will say that definitely you don't want everlasting life without mind control. Then things really get out of hand.
And if you had perfect mind control, like switching to epigenetics, the queen, boom, very different brain function, different expression in the world, what would you switch on or off in humans?
I will switch on the gene for giving even more funding to basic research. And how about peace and love in the world?